gracefully?
Oh, because I know she loves me, and like I love her no matter what. I don't want her to miss out on like my life and like like her kid.
Oh, hold on. Listen, this situation is kind of crazy. Oh, we're talking about black love. I don't know if we're gonna get black love. Now, it's a quick one. I don't want to break too long. I didn't even mean to go live, but I'm live. I want to be real. I think with black love here, I think the reality of the situation is that when we see these two, I see a two avoidance going at it, right? I see a fearful avoidant and I see a dismissive avoidant, or at least one's more dismissive than the other. And so when I say we ain't getting black love, doesn't mean we're not going to literally get it. I mean that right now, this story, it looks like it could collapse. I ain't going to lie to you. You know what I mean? But I want to break down to some stuff. I think watching these two in the relationship, what I noticed is how Kaylbriah was able to be a rock for this for Edmond. I saw how she stood firm for Edmond. I saw how she stood tall for Edmond. I saw how she was making sure that that she was able to support him. And what I find with people who are often dismissive of their actual emotions and very much avoidance, what they tend to do is to be a rock for everybody else. They are the vault, they are the support, they are the foundation, they are everybody else's resting place because they are used to denying their own needs to accommodate other people's needs. That's why she was able to so heavily support him in this position. Now, the key thing here between Kaylbriah and Edmond is, well, whether Edmond has enough strength to support her when she needs it. You see, right now, Kaylbriah is fine. Right now, Kaylbriah is in control, and life hasn't hit them both as of yet. When it does, she will look to him to see if she can rest. Now, if she doesn't trust him, not just because, if she doesn't trust him to be able to lead, if she doesn't trust him to be able to be a support, to lean on, what you'll find is she'll revert back to her dismissive role and she'll play a leadership role again once more, where she will actually become very independent and very hyper independent and very solo. And then that will cause a rut or a gap to appear between herself and Edmond. So when I was listening to him and watching him, she was mentioning some key stuff. When she started talking about her emotions with her dad, she said ill. And I said, whenever someone says ill about saying emotions, it's because oftentimes the relationship that they have with vulnerability is often compromised. And I'll explain that in a second or two.
Kids, her grandkids, all because like the past. I just approached it with a positive mindset.
Dad, he was absent father. Ew, I'm getting emotional. It's still
Okay.
here.
Oh,
And
so as you noticed there where she said, oh, her father was an absentee father, it makes sense why she wants an alpha male, because there's a misrepresentation of the fact that a father figure is missing. So go and get an alpha male who can defend, provide, fight for you, protect you, because all of those things she never got when she was a young girl. Her father should have been that person who was the father who would cover her, protect her, speak life into her, walk in her all her key moments and be that protection, create boundaries that she can play in and know how far she can and can't go. But because he was an absentee father, she had to discover how far she can go. She had to discover how to provide. She had to discover how to protect. And what that does is it makes her come into a position where she has to deny her needs, self-abandon, her emotional ones, by the way, and then be able to fight for her physiological needs. What am I going to eat? Pay my bills and get a roof over my head. Those are physiological issues that one needs, right? That Maslow's hierarchy of needs in terms of needs, right? So the emotional ones don't pay the bills. The emotional ones don't get you fed. So they're not necessary. And so what you see is that now she's asking for this alpha male because there's an archetype, that kind of male who will take over that role that she's previously played. When she doesn't realize what she needs to do is also soften up and actually begin to rest, but she can't because of the life that she leads. And that's a two-pronged thing. She actually can do that, but what you have to start to learn how to do is be able to exist in your emotions. Look, we are telling men to be leaders who are emotionally intelligent. Well, if you are playing a role where you constantly are denying your emotional needs because a bill's got to get paid, you're also not being emotionally intelligent. What you're starting to do is survive. And whenever you're surviving, this doesn't lead to a thriving perspective of actions. It leads to very limited perspectives, very fearful perspective. And love becomes difficult because you're not able to open your heart the way you need to. So here's my advice for Kaylbriah and anybody else listening to this who may also go through this similar situation, who may be an avoidant or some dismissiveness in the way they deal with things. You have to learn how to start processing and understanding and expressing your emotions, okay? Because one of the things that avoidants tend to do is not express how they feel. One, because some of them don't know how to understand it. That's fearful avoidance usually. And two, because they don't know how to process those emotions. That's usually dismissive avoidance, because they don't know how to work through the emotion, right? Rather, they put the emotion aside and walk around it. Processing means sitting there, asking yourself the question, why do I feel the way I do? Why is it that I'm feeling this way now? Where is that feeling coming from? What's the trigger that's making me feel these particular emotions? You have to be able to witness them, observe, and then begin to pass on those emotions. You don't have to let the emotions take over you. But because you're an avoidant and you haven't built up much capacity of learning those skills from a youngster, because rather than actually learning capacity, how to deal with your emotions and sit with them, you bypass them, you push them aside, you suppress them, you repress them. Okay, so now you learn how to be this cold, chilled, solid rock of a person. And many of you know that you're in that family. Everybody relies on you. Everybody calls you. Everybody makes sure that, oh, can you do this for me? Can you do it for me? Oh, I need 15 minutes. I need someone to talk to. I need someone to, you're just the best. You listen so well. And you don't get the same thing back. But it's your fault as well. Okay, as an adult, you're going to have to learn how to open mouth to be able to get fed. Okay, and opening mouth does not mean shooting everybody when you get the opportunity to. Opening mouth means learning how to have balance, to be able to say something in a way that's not also going to be just because your back's against the wall, you're saying it angrily or frustratedly, and now it's a shooting at somebody else. No. In this instance, when you're saying how you feel, we are talking about, hey, do you know, for me, I want more help. I want to be able to express more gratitude. I want to be able to spend more time with you. Yes, I like your energy. Yes, I like your time. Yes, I love you. Yes, I'm a little bit angry yes, I'm angry right now. I don't want to do anything. I am angry. I just want some time alone to recalibrate and come back to you and have a better conversation. These are truths that need to come out. Okay, because you're suffering in silence all the time. Now, how does this play a role for Kaylbriah in the relationship with Edmond? Well, if she's always a silent sufferer, there are going to be needs that she has that she may not be able to articulate and be able to communicate. And that's where they're going to have to work with each other to begin to provide a safe space for her to play in, to begin to explore some of those feelings and do it in a way that doesn't allow her to feel like she's going to be judged for it. Okay. Now, later on, we have to talk. Now we have to talk also about Edmond. We know that he grew up in a household, right? In a household where he was moved around from house to house, he foster caring, you know, his mother didn't kind of almost like abandon him too. So he has a lot of unsafe experiences, a lot of chaos. Right now, he's thriving. It's a new pool. When there is some level of consistency, how would he respond? Why? Because I say fearful avoidance, which I think he is, right? Because of the environment he's grown up in, chaos, right? Unpredictability, a lack of love, neglect, emotional. But his disposition is very anxious, it seems, and he will probably play a more anxious role in the relationship between himself and Kaylbriah because she's more dismissive. In that space, anxious people tend to lean in. They show a lot of love. They get very emotional. They base their value upon external relationships. They put you on pedestals because they believe that you're better than them, because they don't have. They oftentimes judge their own self-worth and self-esteem and don't believe they're good enough. And oftentimes they catastrophize situations. Right. So what you're going to see is that when things get consistent, then we're going to start seeing more of Edmond. Right now, he's a fish in a pond who enjoys new waters, because one thing about a fearful avoidant that they like is the novelty of something. They also thrive in new environments in a lot of cases because nobody knows them. They can't judge them. They can rebrand themselves. They can put the character on, the mask, which does very, very well. Right. So these are all aspects that may begin to play. Right. And so with him, an avoidant in a relationship is a chance to prove himself. It's a chance to chase them, and it's a chance to run a man down. Okay. And if they can capture that person who runs away, then that means that they're worthy. Right. They get value from servitude, from maybe Kaylbriah needing somebody to protect, provide, be there for her. He may find himself playing specific roles, which isn't necessarily a problem until you get locked in the role. And then you're like, I don't like the fact I'm locked in the role. I want to be able to have freedom to express myself. I don't want to feel trapped. And when a fearful avoidant feels trapped, That's when they start doing hot and cold. When a dismissive avoidant, which is Kaylbriah, gets trapped too, they also start withdrawing from the relationship. How do both of them help? How do both of them deal with each other when she wants to withdraw because she needs time alone to recuperate and regulate herself because maybe she hasn't learned how to co-regulate just yet? How does he deal with the fact that she might do that? Or how does she deal with the fact that he may have erratic behaviors and he's not always consistent, and she may feel some type of way too because dismissive avoidance get triggered by inconsistent behavior because it feels like you're about to reject them. They'd rather just detach themselves, right? So the fearful avoidant can have both an anxious and an avoidant perspective. Let's listen a bit more to what they were saying.
I feel like I'm having to grieve someone that isn't gone. Like I'm having to grieve someone that's still here, and someone that I really wanted a relationship with. And so
now, shout out to Kaylbriah for being honest about how she actually wanted a relationship with her dad, and unfortunately didn't get it. That's gonna hit hard. That's rejection. What happens when rejection is actually in a relationship by mistake, or rejection happens by proxy, right? A situation may happen where she wants him to do something. He says, I can't do it. She might read it as rejection of herself, not rejection of the request, but a rejection of self, which is what insecurity actually is. And all three, anxious, dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, are all insecure attachments that personalize things rather than looking at it from if I say your behavior, I don't like your behavior, you personalize it as I don't like you. No, I don't like your behavior, right? Which then triggers the anxious response, which then leads to either rejection for the dismissive avoidant, the abandonment for anxious person, and then the betrayal for the fearful avoidant, which they carry all three, by the way. So the fearful avoidant carries all three. Okay, all right. So for him, he says he knows that his mum loves him. For her, she doesn't know her dad loves her. It's a consistent reminder of being rejected. It's a consistent reminder that your needs are not important. It's a consistent reminder that you were invisible. And so that's going to play a role in this relationship. So when I say they ain't got black love, I don't really mean they ain't going to have black love in this instance. I'm saying they've got a lot of work to do. Maybe they won't be, maybe they will be together, maybe they won't. But I think there's some work that's going to happen, that's going to take place. But for now, it's actually looking good. I'm surprised. The first episode, I was down on them. I was like, nah, they ain't going to work. Second episode, I'm like, oh, okay, this might work. But we'll see when they actually reveal each other and see each other and then be around each other. That's when we really get to see. But listen, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. The locked and loaded. We'll see you again soon. And listen, if you do need some coaching, maybe this is something that you've been dealing with. Maybe you are the family person who's always supporting everybody else. Maybe you're always the person that has to be the strong rock for your family. If that is the case, then listen, this is the time to reach out to me. This is the kind of coaching we do to help you soften up. The Bible talks about turning a heart from stone to flesh, and that is a process. And we also have a similar process of dealing with you from an emotional space to get you from rock to being fleshy in your heart. We want to be able to get you to a place where you can be secure and safe in sharing your vulnerabilities and your emotions and being strong enough to be able to verbalize as well as sit in how you actually feel as well. Okay, so make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. So locked, so loaded. We'll see you again soon.